Good evening. I'm Dana Stone, the Executive Director of the Indianapolis Chamber Orchestra, and I'm here for a very special mocktails and masterpieces with composer Miguel del Aguila. ICO has a history of playing your pieces. Matthew Kraemer, music director, is a fan of your music, and it tends to kind of find its way into ICO programming. So your name is familiar to our audiences, whether your faces or not. And as you kind of alluded to, you have an upcoming opus that will be performing a concerto con Brio with clarinet and oboe in November. And this is kind of the kickoff of part of our 40th season, our commitment to new music, and a special new relationship with Miguel, having him as our composer in residence this season for our 40th season. So Miguel, would you like to talk about that piece some, or maybe some of the other musical influences that have inspired the creative way that you express yourself through music?
I grew up in Latin America, and I grew up in a little country exposed to the music from the whole world. So my childhood was really, and I lived there 20 years before I left. I heard a lot of tango, and you can hear that in my music. A lot of Caribbean music, a lot of Brazilian music. And I was forced to leave my country then because of a military government. So when you leave a country and you can't go back, you carry everything inside of you, whatever memories, like a suitcase, right? And so I think a lot of that music sort of froze inside of me, and it made a big part of my language as a composer. Of course, with time you live in many cultures, you assimilate cultures, and your language expands. But that's pretty much, I think, the core of my identity. You just did Salon, Buenos Aires, obviously a piece that has a lot of tango and memories for me of Buenos Aires. And the previous piece Matthew did actually was Concierto and Tango, which is a cello concerto. I think he did it with Erie Philharmonic, or yeah.
He says that he mentioned it on the list of things that he's programmed.
This piece was finished in 2022, an unusual piece. There are not many double concertos for oboe and clarinet, but it's a beautiful medium because both together, one has what the other doesn't, and vice versa. And they are a very light, very rhythmic ensemble, right? So the concerto is a full concerto, 18 minutes long, has 3 movements. First movement, you will, I think, hear maybe reminiscences from Salon, Buenos Aires. There is tango, but it becomes a little dramatic. The second movement, I write music visually. I see music, right? So, and then out of that visual landscape where I'm in, when I'm writing music, I gather the notes and put it on a score. So there are parts of the second movement that are very distant. And I think I put the instructions on the music, on the score, just play like you are tired musicians playing in a cheap nightclub at 4 a.m. And so there is some of that distance, jazz influence, and you will hear it in the music, right? And the last movement, it's a very fast, very sort of happy Latin dance in many ways. Most of it is 13/16, which is one of my favorite time signatures, which has a lot of influence from Brazilian bossa nova and light samba music. What makes my concept of time signature and rhythm different from everybody else's idea is I don't believe that beats should be the same length. So I design music which has beats of different lengths. Within those beats of different lengths, there are syncopations, but the syncopations happen on beats of different lengths. And if you turn those beats into beats of the same length, then the syncopations are gone or become very awkward. I don't know if that makes any sense for...
No, it does. And ICO, of course, you mentioned to me earlier, we're the second orchestra to play the piece. It'll premiere earlier in the fall. Let's take a quick moment to hear an excerpt from Salon, Buenos Aires. This was the ICO's performance last April, actually just a few months ago. Enjoy. Miguel, thank you so much for sharing that work with us. I know that ICO has played a lot of your pieces over the past 10 years. Arguably, Matthew says, besides our previous composer in residence, you are our second most living composer that ICO has played. So it seems very suited that you join us this next season as composer in residence. But this is not your only residency in this upcoming season. Would you like to talk about some of your other exciting engagements?
I'm also going to be composer in residence of the Contemporary Music Festival, Indiana State University. It's the end of October, 25th to 28th. So you're all invited to come to the festival. And yeah, and then I'll be back for our concert, Concierto con Brio, performance November 18th with the orchestra. And that's pretty much the plan. I'm glad I'm going to be able to spend some time with you, with the orchestra and the musicians.
I'm excited as well. I know that you have not been to Indianapolis with us before, at least. And of course, we played multiples of your pieces. So very excited to meet you in real life and get to kind of share some of your musical knowledge with students here at Butler and some other local institutions who we have longstanding partnerships with. I'm going to ask, what else is exciting for you in the upcoming season or seasons? What are you working on that you'd like to maybe tease about or share with our audiences?
No, what I'm working on, I just finished a piece for flute and piano. And there are a few more performances of this Concierto con Brio, which you guys are doing just a month after its premiere, planned for next year. Most of them are planned for next year. For the summer, my music will be at many of the major music festivals. And then in Italy, there will be also a few ritratti in Bari, Accademia Chigiana. And then strangely enough, Vilnius, the city of Vilnius in Lithuania is celebrating 700 years. So there will be lots of concerts. And for some reason, they chose to perform my music a few times. And why not, right? There is nothing like celebrating Vilnius with Uruguayan American music. Dali Quartet is doing my clocks at some music in the mountains, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, well,
I
that sounds
invite
like
you
an
all to go
awful lot, an awful lot.
Go to my website and
Yeah,
check my
definitely.
events, and I'm sure there is something happening in a city near you.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Miguel, thank you so much for your time today. And we very much look forward to meeting you in November and to experiencing your music, more of your music, and sharing that with our audiences here. And for those of you that are interested in learning more about ICO programs, you can visit icomusic.org. We are currently, it is June, so season tickets, full season subscriptions are on sale exclusively until July 1, when some of our more advanced packages become available, and then single tickets on August 1st. So we hope you will join us for the full season. There are still some great seats available. And Miguel, thank you again for your time, and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. So do I. Looking forward.